On April 22, 2025, violence tore through the quiet meadows of Pahalgam. 26 civilians were killed in a calculated event that would force India to rewrite its rules of engagement. The attackers followed a methodical screening process, profiling victims by name and religion before executing them at close range. This was a deliberate provocation aimed directly at New Delhi's leadership, intended to test the government's resolve. Strategic planners in Pakistan had set a trap. They gambled that India would respond with either empty diplomatic protests or a clumsy, predictable military strike that could be easily intercepted. Prime Minister Modi immediately cut short a state visit to Saudi Arabia. Within hours, he returned to New Delhi to convene the Cabinet Committee on Security. Instead of immediate military retaliation, India initiated a strategic pause. New Delhi downgraded diplomatic channels, halted cross-border movement, and placed the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance, restricting water-sharing mechanisms. Islamabad interpreted this lack of kinetic action as hesitation. In reality, the silence masked a full-scale covert mobilization of India's military assets. India utilized this strategic silence as a coercive tool. It lulled the enemy into a false sense of security, while the military prepared a massive multidimensional counterstrike. Just after midnight, the silence broke. In a highly compressed window of exactly 23 minutes, Indian forces struck 9 terror targets across Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Rafale and Su-30 MKI jets launched Scalp cruise missiles and hammer munitions, hitting high-value infrastructure up to 150 kilometers inside hostile territory. The strikes dismantled terror hubs and killed 10 members of Masood Azhar's immediate family, including high-ranking leadership within Jaish-e-Mohammed. Indian pilots operated under restrictive rules of engagement. They were forbidden from initiating attacks on Pakistani aircraft or preemptively suppressing air defenses, meaning they flew directly into active radar zones. By accepting this tactical risk, India sent a calibrated message. It could strike deep with surgical accuracy without triggering a full-scale conventional war. Pakistan treated the precision strike as an act of war. On May 8th, they launched a retaliatory wave of over 600 drones and missiles, targeting Indian positions from Srinagar to the Thar Desert. India's automated air defense grid successfully intercepted the mass attack. Integrated ground-to-air systems neutralized the swarm before it could cause significant damage. Pakistan's failed attempt to overwhelm India's defenses broke the unspoken limits of the conflict. This gave New Delhi the justification to move to the final rung of the escalation ladder. What followed was a 52-minute multi-domain assault. India deployed 114 fighter jets and 19 BrahMos cruise missiles, targeting 11 Pakistani airbases simultaneously. At sea, 36 Indian warships moved to undisclosed holding positions, forming a blockade to choke off critical infrastructure at Karachi port. Pakistan's military losses were heavy. Indian forces destroyed F-16s, a C-130J, and multiple JF-17s, both in the air and on the ground. India also utilized its S-400 systems to reach deep into enemy territory, destroying an AWACS plane while it was operating inside Pakistani airspace. With their air defense and logistics paralyzed, Pakistan's DGMO initiated contact with his Indian counterpart. He requested an immediate cessation of all military operations by 1700 hours. The coordinated application of air, land, and sea power had collapsed Pakistan's decision-making cycle in under an hour, forcing an end to the engagement. Operation Sindoor replaced India's historical military caution with a posture defined by speed and proactive engagement. This strategy demonstrated escalation dominance. India proved it could strike, absorb a retaliatory blow, and then escalate with overwhelming force, all while maintaining control under the shadow of nuclear weapons. The conflict showcased the move toward multi-domain integration. Deterrence now relies on air power, on naval positioning, and advanced missile grids, operating as a single coordinated weapon system. The events in Pahalgam led to a shift in India's strategic posture. New Delhi no longer merely reacts to individual provocations, it uses escalation dominance to define the boundaries of the conflict.